Hey everyone, this is Arjun Rai, founder and CEO at HelloWoofy.com. Today I have the honor of introducing Jim Edwards, who is one of our investors. He's our newest investor at the WeFunder campaign, which, as you know, is the equity crowdfunding campaign we've been running. This is actually our second time doing a WeFunder, and we did 2 rounds on Republic. And I think today we raised like $900,000, give or take. But Jim, thank you so much for joining the call. Jim emailed me out of nowhere after seeing our Facebook ads, and he was like, who the heck is this kid that keeps responding to people's Facebook comments on the ads? And it was like, what in video format? So Jim emailed me a couple of weeks ago. We got on a phone call probably 4 days in a row.
Yeah, right at the end of the year. It
Yep.
was like my wife was getting pissed because I was supposed to take the week off.
Yep.
I'm like, I got to meet with this crazy dude up in the NYC. We're gonna do some cool stuff together.
Yeah.
You told me it's okay.
Well, Jim, I really do want you to introduce yourself, especially with so many things you've done to help small businesses and the underdogs. But today we're going to be talking about where you think small businesses are going, where the underdogs are going, how can HelloWoofy get them, why did you invest in the company, what is your vision for our collaboration? So I'll hand it over to you to introduce Jim Edwards and tell us why you're so awesome.
So, well. That's a lot. I'm trying to keep track of everything you told me you wanted me to say. So first thing is, my name's Jim Edwards. I've been selling online actually since 1997. So back before the turn of the century. I think Arjun, when I started selling, I sold my first ebook online in 1997. I think the dude was like 6. So I've been doing this for a long time. One of the things that I've figured out over all these years is that the words that come out of your mouth that you put on the screen, that you put in text format, that you use in a video or an audio or podcast on something like this are only half the battle. The other half of the battle is being able to get your message in front of people, being able to systematically get eyeballs on your articles, your blog post, your sales letter, your tweet, all that stuff. And so I've really spent, especially the last 10 years, not just doing it in my own business, but teaching other people how to do it as well. I'm the author of Copywriting Secrets, which has sold, I think, closing in on 83,000 copies around the world, which may not sound like a lot. I think it's cool. My mom thinks it's neat. 83,000, but the average business book only sells about 1,500 copies. So a successful average business book sells 1,500 copies. But my whole focus is on helping people with a message to share get their message out, even though they are not salespeople. So I help non-salespeople put messages on the web, on social media, in print, that they can use to get more sales, more subscribers, more clicks, more of whatever it is that builds their business without having to become a professional copywriter or a professional writer. I have a background not only in online business, but I was also a syndicated newspaper columnist for 10 years. And I've spoken all over the world helping people to do better sales copy and to create much better content using the frameworks that I have isolated and used over the years. And
so let's talk about those frameworks, because I think we just had a technical call this morning about integrating your technology into our technology and really creating a really, really powerful, symbiotic relationship there, where at the end of the day, the underdog benefits, right? So talk about a little bit about those frameworks, the piece of technology you build, because we're living in a world where AI is competing with some of the best copywriters in the world, right? Our stance is that at some point, users are going to be required, in my opinion, to sign a waiver that says, hey, all the content that you're uploading, all the stuff you're uploading, you did at least half of it, right? Because we don't want robotic text on these social media platforms or blogging platforms. But a lot of our, when people come to us and they say, hey, are you like this company? Are you like that company that'll write everything for me and I don't have to do anything? Well, when you look at the quality of that content, it's not that great. But you add soul into it. So talk to us a little bit about how that works.
Right. So here's the thing. Robotic content, just to be real clear, AI content is basically content that's been written by copying and digesting other content that was on the web. I always think, what would happen if those Twitter bots are reading AI creating content and then commenting back to each other. It's like the bear in the woods thing, or excuse me, the tree falling in the woods. So the thing is, what I've learned over 25 plus years is that there are certain frameworks that work for people. Also, it's very hard for people to know, like, and trust a robot. In order for, and that, by the way, you know this, underdogs, in order for someone to buy from you, they have to know, like, and trust you. Nobody just shows up and says, hey, let me give you money. They got to get to know you. They got to like you. They got to trust you. That's what content marketing is. In order to do that, you have to share a piece of you, because quite frankly, anything you're doing can be ripped off. Your book can be copied. Your software can be cloned. Your business can be copied. Your products can be outsourced. Every single thing about you and your business can be copied, cloned, or knocked off. The only thing that cannot be copied, cloned, or knocked off is you. And ultimately, what people are buying from you, especially online, they got to know you, like you, trust you, because they're buying you and your story. Ultimately, that is what sells. People buy from a person. That's why I always think B2B, B2C is nonsense. It's all P2P. It's people to people. Now, someone in a business context might have a little bit different buying criteria than a consumer, but still a person buying. Yeah. So there are certain frameworks that people respond to. Things like listicles, things like checklists, things like tips, quotes, words of the day, all these different, and there's tons of them, you know, beginner guide, Q&A, FAQ, I mean, there's tons of different frameworks that work in different situations. But the bottom line is that you have to be in the content. There has to be soul in the content. So what we do is we help people help people develop ideas really fast, automatically plug their ideas into our frameworks using our software. So in 1/10, 1/20th the time, you can create an original article that's really your article, instead of some AI thing that I swear they must be paying off it's like the New York mafia. They're paying off the plagiarism bots not to flag the stuff as plagiarism, because it's like this is just junk. Yeah. But the stuff that comes out of yourself and your soul, you also are confident that it's your stuff and the people are connecting with you. So that's the first two parts of the equation: is great idea, fast creation with a framework, and then you got to have systematic distribution. Because what most people do, and this is the reason why I sought out Arjun after skulking around the internet, and there you go. But after like spying on him to see that he really, really cared about his customers, is that most people, they create a piece of content, they throw it up on their Facebook profile and wonder why nobody's beating down their door, whether it's a physical business or an online business, selling coaching or teapots. And the reason for that is because you've got to have systematic distribution. You can't just come up with a cool meme and be like, oh man, this meme is going to go viral. No, it's not. It's not going to go viral by itself. It has to get posted, has to get reposted, has to get put out there. It has to be supported by other content. And so the third part of the equation is what HelloWoofy does for our customers. And what we bring is the other two parts of the equation for Arjun's customers, being able to help you create really good original content with soul that is yours, that you can use with confidence and be able to create really, really fast.
So I just want to pause you there, because you talk about distribution, right? That's the thing that was missing. You know, you can teach small businesses as much as you want, you can show them as much as you want, but at the end of the day, they have to execute. In this case, distribute. Right. And so we actually is at HelloWoofy say, just like to your point, reuse, repurpose, recycle your content, because on average, only 5% of your audience will actually see the post, maybe 10%. That means 90% of your followers that, you know, expect something from you, they follow you for a reason, never knew that you posted anything. Right. And so in our case, you know, one of the things that Jim loved is a sense of a library. We literally have a library. We call it the dumping ground for content. And all you have to do is put everything into a category. Makes it super easy. You can do it in bulk. You can do it one at a time, however, whatever works for you. For our business, we have two different categories that we use over and over again. One is the quotes, as Jim mentioned, and that's evergreen. Like you can post that today, tomorrow, next week, next year, next century. Content Masters is our Facebook group, which everyone can join and learn about marketing tips. Jim's tips are in there as well, or how to use HelloWoofy. Now there's 67 posts. That means I have almost 67 weeks worth of content if I just post once a day or once a week, excuse me. If I do twice a week, then I've got 30, give or take 30 weeks worth of content. And so that's actually very powerful. Now you can, run a campaign, you can schedule it again and again, you can make some changes. The library also tells you how similar your content is to something else you posted in the last 30 days, because guess what? Twitter, unlike other platforms that tend to be a little bit more lenient, they don't like similar content. They don't like duplicated content. So while we're helping you, Jim's helping you create content and optimize and all that stuff, we actually want to get it out the door and then let you execute on that. And that's one of the reasons why HelloWoofy is so powerful, is because it does it for three things. It does it for social media. It does it for blogging. Now with web stories coming out with Google Web Stories, that means Instagram stories, like interface in the first page of Google. And of course, audio marketing. That's super important because guess what? We've been stuck at home for such a long time that audio marketing has taken over the world. We have so many of these speakers, right? We got the Echo Dots, we got the Fire TVs, we got the Echo Shows here as well. These are touchscreen enabled devices. They're 500 million. But Jim's audience, our audience at HelloWoofy, they struggle because these devices are very expensive to broadcast to. Building an app or a skill takes a lot of money, and so we actually made it super easy. Tell us your title, tell us your logo, tell us your description, and automatically creates an app or a skill for you. So Jim, tell us a little bit about where do you think small businesses are going in 2022? We had Glenn on the call or on the show a couple of weeks ago. He's one of our other investors from Quake Capital. And he actually talked about how recessionary periods or the aftermath of it actually causes a huge influx of small businesses being created because people want to be more, in charge of their destiny. We're actually seeing now people are quitting their jobs and they want to work from home. What are you seeing, and what do you see happening in 2022?
So I was talking 3 years ago about the fact that there were a lot of people going into the quote unquote gig economy, not by choice.
Yeah.
And they were being forced out because corporations were basically abusing them. It was easier to fire everybody and make them be independent contractors than it was to have them all as employees. So now what's happening is there's all these people that are like, you know what? I can make it without the man. I can make it with my own gig, with making my own hours, with doing my own thing. And so that's a good thing that people feel confident and empowered. But what's happening though is that as more people do something, there's more there's more noise. I won't say there's more confusion, there's just competition. So what you need to do, what I think is the differentiating factor, is that the people who find their voice and build their tribe are the ones who are going to win. Now, there are like 8 billion people on the face of the planet. I can tell you right now, with a few hundred people in your tribe that are paying attention to what you're doing and are buying from you on a regular basis, you can create a really nice additional income stream or even a replacement income stream. Because the cool thing is that if you're not having to go, another thing that came out of the pandemic and all this stuff is that people realized, hey, you know what? If I'm not driving to work every day, if I'm not having to go get a $7 Starbucks macchiato on the way, nothing wrong with that, by the way. I live way out in the country. I just don't have a Starbucks.
Extra caramel, extra flurries on top.
Exactly. So now I can actually live a more fulfilling life on less money.
Yeah.
And so now people feel really empowered. But the big thing they need to do is not trade one job for another. So that's one of the biggest reasons why anybody who is doing their own thing has to use social media effectively and cast a really wide net.
Yeah.
And what you have is a situation where, and if I can go to the whiteboard, permission to go to the whiteboard.
Captain? Absolutely.
What
give you full access.
What happens is this: you, as a sole person, and I'm gonna make my first that looks like a cat, and that's like the worst dog ever. Okay, sorry, that's really bad. So, as a woofyite, okay, you have a lot of stuff that you got to do.
Yeah.
And there's accounting, there's marketing, there's the fulfillment, there's taking out the trash, there's all the stuff that you have to do. I'm totally serious.
Yeah.
And so there's all the stuff that goes into running a business. And you got to do the stuff on Facebook, you got to do the stuff on Instagram, you got to do the stuff on LinkedIn and all this other stuff.
And by the way, we're just talking about social. We haven't even you haven't even started talking about blogging and audio and all that stuff. This is just one.
I just got to keep it simple, man. I just got to have everybody understand. Let's say there's 10 places that you need to post your stuff. I think right now HelloWoofy posts up to everything includes like 20 something different places that you can post automatically.
We have 25 on the roadmap. We do about a dozen so far. Give or take.
So let's just say there's 10 places you're going to go. You're like, nah, I don't like Pinterest. I don't get it. I ain't doing that. So whatever it is, all right, think about this. You take the time to create a really cool video that everybody who's in your target audience, man, they need to see this. I'm sharing these cool secrets with them and everybody's going to want to check me out. So now you take all that time and it's like a battery. So you're like, okay, I got to create the content. Oh, I got to check the email. Okay, let me get back to creating the content. I finish the content. Let me record the video. All right, let me write up a little blurb and all this stuff. And now it's like, oh man, I'm out of time because I got a meeting. Let me just post it up to Facebook and I'll come back. Well, if you just post it to Facebook, it's not going to do any good. But this is where math and thinking as a real entrepreneur comes in. Let's say that it takes you just conservatively 1 minute on average to post to each place where you want to post your thing. You got to format it the right way. You got to get the things, you got to copy and paste, you got to log on, you got to do all this stuff. So let's say you spend don't worry about how long it takes you to create the content, but now you need to go post it. And this is marketing. This is important. This is critical, actually. So let's say it takes you a minute. 1 minute times 10 times 5 days a week is 50 minutes. Times 50 weeks is 2,500 minutes a year spent posting.
Yep.
So divide that by 60 and it's like 40 plus hours. That is one full work week. What would you be able to do with an extra work week? Now, it gets better because that's just talking about the initial posting. Because the cool thing with HelloWoofy is that you can reuse content over and over and over again. So let's say that you repost this stuff over the course of a year 4 times. And the problem is you're never going to remember to do that. When it's gone, it's gone. But the little Woofy app remembers to do everything. So 4 times that 1 week, that's 4 weeks of just posting and remembering to post that HelloWoofy does for you. And so whatever your hourly rate is, let's say you're charging people $50 an hour.
Yep.
Well, $50 an hour for a week with 40 hours is $2,000. But as underdogs, do we work 40 hours a week? No, we work 60 or 70 hours a week. Well, we'll just go with the 40. So that's $2,000 a week times 4 weeks, $8,000 worth of effort that HelloWoofy would save you on average just doing one little chunk of content per day. Imagine what it would save you if you were doing 2 pieces of content a day, which a lot of the social media things will tell you that you need to be doing anywhere between 2 to 4 posts a day to stay on people's radar.
Yeah.
This is a lifesaver. This is your whole marketing and distribution department all in one easy to use, amazing, simple app with the best and most features of any. There are no competitors for HelloWoofy. There are only people that want to be as cool as HelloWoofy.
Well, we always say, I mean, if you see our deck, for people who are looking to invest in the company, obviously, do your own diligence, do your own research as well. There are a lot of companies out there. In fact, I know many of the founders who are at the helm of these companies, and we have a lot of respect for them. But when it comes to making something smart. We like to say smart marketing for underdogs. HelloWoofy, to Jim's point, is definitely up there. I do want to, drive a little bit of attention to our WeFunder campaign, because as of today, and Jim put in some capital in this campaign as well, so thank you, Jim. But as of today, Friday, January 14, we raised nearly $121,000, and that means a lot of our customers, a lot of strangers who I've never met, small businesses I've never met, they believe in the mission of our company, which is to build the biggest company, helping the smallest. We're definitely on a mission to, help as many underdogs as possible. And guess what? Most of our customers, based on stats that I'm looking at on Facebook, tend to be women-led businesses. We're talking about people that, who really could use some help in terms of content creation, content distribution. We're now building a graphic editor. That means you can start creating graphic, for different sizes, different shapes, and whatever you need for different platforms automatically as well. And that'll be ready in a couple of months as well. We're really taking it, to heart to build a smart marketing platform for underdogs. Now, Jim, you mentioned, our competition. This is public information. A lot of our competitors have been around for a long time. One of them happens to be a publicly traded company. Again, do your own diligence. Take a look at their growth. Take a look at how fast they're growing, thanks to a category which is digital marketing. But again, all of our competitors, they do a really good job scheduling content for social media. What they don't do is use any sort of artificial intelligence, any sort of framework that Jim is talking about, any sort of anything to help you get from point A to point B without, pulling your hair out, essentially. They don't do blog scheduling. None of our competitors do blog scheduling. None of our competitors even care about that you don't have the ability to reach your customers through audio marketing, these devices, but there are 500 million speakers out there. None of them even have thought about using Google Web Stories. Now, one of the things that we realized during the pandemic is that people are Googling you, searching for you more than ever, right? We can all agree on that. The fact that people were stuck at home and they were on their computer more than ever. So this is a quick example of what Google Web Stories actually means. It means that you have an Instagram story-like product that is right in the search results. This is an example of Remodelisa. No affiliation with Remodelisa whatsoever. But here they have a 4-story scheduled, and when you click on them, you can actually see a beautiful slideshow, just like a story on Instagram, of what they're selling, what they're promoting, the tips and tricks, the quotes, and these are linkable as well. So we're actually about to ship a product that will allow you to have SEO capabilities for the price of a cup of coffee as well. So now, what did we talk about, Jim? We talked about social, we talked about blogging, we talked about Google Web Stories, we talked about audio marketing. I mean, for the affordable price that we have, starting at $49 for the whole year, there's a lot of capabilities here that we're very proud of that we can bring to small business. Again,
it's
smart
too
marketing.
cheap. It's too cheap. Every time we talk, I'm telling man, you need to raise price.
We
price.
Yep, we increased the prices today actually. So small business can get in at the ground floor for a whopping $149 to $12.99 at the what we call the plans for underdogs. And then we have additional plans. We call it plans for under pups, smaller plans with more basic features, and they start at $49 level as well, and they go up to $99 and whatnot. But the point is, we have a different business model. At the end of the day, every time a customer comes in, we get new learnings, we get new data to figure out exactly how does content actually work with one another, right? What emojis do well with other hashtags, that will do well with other words, and so on and so forth. And at scale, this is what's actually helping us, create amazing content. So for example, as soon as you type a post, just give you a quick example here, it starts giving you recommendations of what you could say. And of course, we love you, Jim, and the coffee I made earlier. So we'll complete the sentence there. And then on the bottom, it's going to figure out the perfect emojis for you. It's going to figure out what emojis are being used right this second as Jim and I are having this conversation. And we'll find images based on that as well for you that are royalty free. And if you like any of those images that have any text in them, it'll automatically transcribe it for you as well. So my point is, this is a very, very powerful platform, and we want you as our small businesses, people who believe in small businesses, to invest as low as $100. Do your own due diligence, before you invest, obviously, into the equity crowdfunding campaign. But every dollar goes towards building the product to helping other small businesses. Jim, what is your outlook on the equity crowdfunding as an idea, as a platform? Like, tell us a little bit about what was your thought process when you invested your capital?
So I had a thought about an opportunity that I never got about 7-8 years ago when I created funnel scripts with Russell Brunson. Never had the opportunity to invest in ClickFunnels, which is worth hundreds of millions of dollars now. And everybody says, man, I wish I could have gotten in with Amazon on the ground floor. I wish I could have been able to buy Netflix when it was $2, but you just never, you never know, or you never hear about it until it's too late. And the reason that I'm excited is that I know that what HelloWoofy does is critical for the success of anyone, but especially solopreneurs, underdogs, underpups, overdogs,
Yep.
whatever level you get to. It is critical for their success to be able to spread their message far, wide, and consistently.
Yep.
And it's changed a lot in that you have to be able to not only be on all these platforms, but stay up with the new platforms that are coming.
Yep.
And you don't have, unless you've got a marketing department, unless you can afford a VA to do all that for you, you've got to outsource it. And what better place to outsource it than HelloWoofy? I don't know of a place. So I put my own money into the company, and we're working very closely with HelloWoofy to make it so that people are able to create amazing content and be able to distribute it far and wide, and all kinds of cool strategies that we can use now that we couldn't use before, because you just physically couldn't keep track of it. Yep. But now HelloWoofy makes it super easy to do. So that's why I'm all in.
Thank you, Jim. And I also want to highlight, there are perks to investing. You can invest as low as $100, but if you starting at the 250 level, 500,000, so on and so forth, you can start with a discount that goes towards your first year's membership. And then if you invest at the $1,000 level or even higher, you get 5 years worth of access to certain tiers on the on HelloWoofy as a platform. And of course, you can always upgrade. You can always downgrade if you wanted to. But the point is, we're letting small businesses be on the cap table, be on our, have shares, a promise to shares on in our company, because who else would know how we're building the platform, who to build a platform than you guys, right? We want our underdogs to be a part of the cap table. We want our underdogs to be affiliates. One of the other benefits that, we have at HelloWoofy is that, you can invest as low as $100. You can buy a product for $49, as low as $49 for the year, become an affiliate, and potentially, no guarantees, but you can make all of it back or a small percentage of it back. And plus, you become our biggest champions. You bring in other underdogs and other small businesses. And so this is actually a part of our business model. I mean, I encourage other small businesses, other startup founders to take a look at equity crowdfunding from that lens, not just a blank check, but from that lens. How do you get your customers to invest, in a scalable manner? And so we're very proud of being able to do this. Jim, is there anything else you want to cover? Anything else you want to talk about? How can people reach you? That would be a great, piece of information that, maybe people want to reach out for your membership programs as well.
So the best thing you can do is just go to thejimedwardsmethod.com. That's where my blog is, and you can find out about my universe. So that would just be, I mean, I've got free stuff, paid stuff, cool stuff, the drill. So I've got a membership site, and I've got some other cool. Hey, that's a pretty good effect you got there, man. It's like that. That's the bounce. That's the
you gotta use your trackpad. You gotta use your trackpad.
That was good, man. So that would be the place to go. Just thejimedwardsmethod.com. And I'm super excited. The cool thing also, I will give kudos to HelloWoofy. Arjun is young and hungry and wants to make this work. Those other companies that you put up there are like, hey, we made it, dude. We've got people that are paying us. We're doing a few million a year. I'm happy. I'm sitting on the beach. And it's like, you guys just don't get it. And so this really is gonna change the world. And the cool thing is that the synergy now with Arjun, with me, and me with Arjun, just there's some cool things have already been happening just in a few weeks, and some really neat things are on the way as well. So,
well, speaking of cool, now I have to show this example of augmented reality, right? Because we're realizing that a lot of our companies that are small businesses that are joining, they work from home. they're taking care of the kids, right? They're doing family oriented things while managing their businesses, but they're actually running agencies. We're getting some agencies on board that are now 3 to 5 people, but they're all remote. And we were like, how can we use the latest and greatest technology affordably, obviously, to allow them to manage and work with one another on content? So this is an example that we're about to ship in a few days, which is literally you just use your phone, this little device here. You don't need goggles, you don't need glasses. You use that one phone, and you can have another colleague or another client with the same, log in from a phone as well. And this is an augmented reality version of your content that's sitting in your library, showing off to your client, saying, "Hey, Jim and I put this content together. What do you think about it?" And Sarah can be like, "Oh, I really like that post about Andrea Bocelli. Schedule it right now. Send it off to Instagram." And the next post, send it off to LinkedIn, and Google My Business or whatnot. So we were like, and by the way, using your phone, you can literally have a audio conversation over this and be, just like any Zoom meeting, if you will. And then you can do the same thing with a timeline. You want to show Sarah, Jim and I working together for Sarah, what does the timeline look like? What has been scheduled in the past? What's coming out in the future? And Sarah could be like, that Andrea Bocelli post shouldn't be out there right now. Don't have it come out next. Have that other post where it says the patents, have that come out. So she can drag and drop it down the timeline and visually see the whole schedule for the next few days, few weeks, few months. And this is the kind of toolkit that we're building for agencies at home, so they can compete with the biggest agencies in the world, the ones that have like unlimited marketing budgets, if you will.
That's very cool. That's very cool. I'm just sitting there thinking like, damn, how can I use that?
Yeah,
So that's really cool.
VR is great, but my whole thing is, how can we use existing piece of technology, right? These are
Right.
already in your hands. These are already in your bathroom. These are already in your living room. Like, how do we get small businesses to not only use these, but then also their customers to receive broadcasts from their followers, right? From their creators, because people buy from people. People buy from Jim. People buy from me. That's why I do a lot of the sales calls myself, is because once they see the demo and they see who's so passionate behind it, then they buy. And now we need to bring that to television. We need to bring it to these devices. That's our mission. Build the biggest company helping the smallest.
Absolutely.
Jim, anything else we want to cover? Any other last thoughts you have on the campaign, on yourself, why you're so awesome again?
Nope. Don't worry about why I'm so awesome, but you tell me. I'm going to end my last question with a question to you.
Yeah.
Why are you so passionate about building HelloWoofy and working 24/7?
So I say 3 things. One is I do it for my customers. I do it for my shareholders, the investors, which in some cases they overlap and they're more so than ever before. And the third reason is because of my dad. I'd love to see him, standing right next to me. No guarantees, no projections, no financial guarantees here. But when we list the company, if and when, I'd love for him to stand right there next to me at NASDAQ, and the ticker symbol being WOFY. But again, no guarantees on that statement. But those are the 3 reasons we are working 24/7, is to help underdogs, and of course the people who believed in us from the very beginning, and that includes my dad.
Very cool. I'm in. Let's
Thank
do
you.
this.
Virtual Alex. All right, guys.
All right.
Take care. Thanks so much. Again, if you want to invest, go to wefunder.com/HelloWoofy, and you can learn more. Do your due diligence, learn about the product, learn about our backstory as well there, and you can see why other people like Jim invested under the update section and the testimonial section as well. All right, guys. Take care.